It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to this Tuesday morning. It is your feel-good breakfast show on S3. Thanks for starting your day off with us. Our theme today, self-care on this Health Tuesday. And indeed, self-care has been defined as a multidimensional, multifaceted process of purposeful engagement in strategies that promote a healthy functioning system and, of course, enhance your well-being. And essentially, the term rather, describes a conscious act that a person takes to promote their own physical, mental, and emotional health. And with us this morning to chat about a variety of self-care topics is Dr. Ronelle Williams, who is here to chat about premenstrual dysphoric disorder. We also are joined by Habiba Hendricks, who's an entrepreneur and a hair specialist, as well as Nomusa Kweyama, the National Wellness Manager at the SABC. Thank you very much for joining us, ladies. To you as well, Nomusa, waking up very, very early to join us. We really do appreciate it very much. Let's pick up the conversation with you first, Ronelle, and we were talking about it just before the ad break for me to kind of get my tongue around the term premenstrual dysphoric disorder, or what you refer to as PMDD, right? What exactly is that?
Well, it is a condition that, in layman's term, if I were to explain to anybody, it's a very severe form of PMS. And PMS is very well known by most women, even men. And however, in this case, it can cause either emotional, physical, or behavioral symptoms. But it occurs on a monthly basis, just about a week or two before getting your period.
Is it quite common, or is it something that is experienced by a small number of the population? Because, I mean, we all know of PMS, but
Yes.
PMDD is something distinctly different?
Yes, the one is a syndrome, and the other one is actually classified as a disorder, and only about 5% of women, so it's a small percentage, can have this disorder.
Yeah. How is it diagnosed, if I may ask?
So clinically, clinically in assessing somebody, you have to see them, take a history, as well as what we normally recommend women do is keep a record of their menstrual cycle over at least 3 months. Because what we want to know in that history is there any symptoms that impacts their functioning just in those 2 weeks after ovulation and the start of their menstrual cycle?
Yeah. Habiba, let's talk to you about your area of expertise, and one which involves a lot of our confidence and how we feel about ourselves, which is hair.
Correct.
Right, hair loss is quite a common thing as one ages, but in winter, our bodies just kind of seem to take a general, it takes a toll on us.
Yes.
Hair loss in winter and how it affects women. Let's talk about that.
If you think of the season winter, what generally happens to our bodies? It is more malnourished, more dehydrated, thus then causing a negative impact on the hair shaft. So in essence, I would always say, try to double up on your vitamins, on your nourishment, your nutrients, in order for your immune system to not be as malnourished during the season. Because of the cold air, the drastic temperature changes, that's all impacting negatively long-term on the hair strand.
Absolutely.
So, as the doctor also mentioned, the hormonal state in conjunction with temperature changes also then impacts hair, for example, being impacted negatively.
So both internal and external factors play a big role.
Yes, a big role.
Yeah. Now, Mam Nomusa, who joins us all the way from Johannesburg over there, you are the wellness manager for the SABC. Talk to me about how important such a role is within companies.
Yes. Good morning once again to my co-colleagues in the studios, as well as the viewers. The role of wellness, over the years, if I can go back just a few years back, it's been a role that has not been highly recognized. And many companies have looked at the role as a luxury, as compared to the how important it is. But over the past few years, especially with the COVID, it has actually brought the interest and the significance of the role to the fore. with many organizations realizing that the health and well-being of the employees is a critical component. And as a result, it required wellness to take a lead in terms of ensuring the health and safety of employees and addressing significant issues, health issues that were brought about COVID in the workplace. And organizations such as ours, SABC, who have embraced this role for over 20 years plus, can actually attest to the fact that having a wellness role in the organization not only or support the individual employees, but also has a greater benefit to the organization at large. So if I can just share briefly, if time permits.
Of course.
That as an organization, for instance, as I said, we've had this role for a long time, and we have invested immensely into the health and well-being of employees. It's one of the fundamental things, and it has been highly prioritized to the point that we invest a lot of resources in ensuring that our employees are given the priority, and also the caring element. We don't just think that we are a caring organization, but we demonstrate it by the occupational programs that we provide to our employees, the wellness programs that we have planted in the organization, and how our employees have received it. So we can certainly say that we see the great results, and also research at this point in time does highlight the significant role that wellness plays. So given that employees are a backbone of any organization, and they are highly valued resource and asset of each and every organization. In order to drive organizational success, I think wellness should be a highly prioritized role in every company, in every organization, not just a luxury type of a role. So I think we are at a point where there's a shift in an environment, and many business will take up this role in the near future, and in fact will be made a top role in any organization.
Yeah, these are the things we love to hear, and certainly a trend worth following. Thank you very much, Mam Nomusa, who is the Wellness Manager of the SABC. And we will be continuing with our conversation regarding wellness or self-care, which is the theme of the day. Do send us your comments and your questions via WhatsApp. Our voice note line is 0634088863. And also tell us, what is your self-care routine, if indeed you do have one? We can't wait to hear from you.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. So great to be with you on this Tuesday morning, and you're still with us as we chat all things self-care. That is the theme of the day, and to that effect, we're joined by Dr. Ronelle Williams, who is here to chat about PMDD that we learned about earlier on, premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Also, Habiba Hendricks, who's an entrepreneur and a hair specialist, as well as Nomusa Kweyama, the National Wellness Manager of the SABC. We also are taking your voice notes in all things self-care. We want to know what self-care routines you apply. Maybe we can learn from you. Any questions you might have as well, do send them through to us on our voice note line 0634088863. Let's hear what Ridwan has to say.
Good morning, Expresso team. Trust you well. Yeah, so for me, it's basically having my hair cut at the barber shop every 2 weeks, and then with that goes like a facial normally. And the barber normally do like a manicure or whatever. And then my daily routine is going to gym. So yeah, that's how I take care of myself. Thank you very much.
Love that. Thank you very much, Ridwan, sending that voice note through all the way from Dubai. And as he was talking about how the barber does a little bit of a manicure as well, I think I heard Ronelle going, oh, yes. Was that, is that?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yes.
Definitely.
Is that one of your self-care routines for you, Ronelle?
Yes, it is. Definitely. That, and my top would probably be a massage.
A massage as well.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I haven't had one of those in a while. But let's delve back into the topic that you came to shed a bit more light on, which is PMDD. And in trying to understand further the difference between PMS and PMDD, how would you shed light on that?
The difference is both of them will present with similar symptoms. So
Okay.
the clusters, we call them the emotional, physical, and behavioral. However, in PMDD, it'll be much more extreme. And the impairment that will happen is impairment in their daily function. People will, when they have these symptoms, struggle to just go about their daily life. It also disrupts relationships. And to the extent where they get intense feelings of feeling depressed, hopeless, and it can even increase thoughts of suicide or attempted suicide.
Wow.
The current data shows that at least a third of women with PMDD have attempted suicide. So it's quite a severe
serious, yes.
disorder. And the difference would be PMS is a syndrome and PMDD is a disorder, which means it's been classified as a clinical mental disorder.
Goodness, okay. So help me understand from a layperson's point of view, when something is classified as a syndrome versus a disorder,
Yes.
that distinction, what is that all about?
So we use in psychiatry the DSM. That is basically our Bible for the diagnosis, which has certain criteria for each psychiatric disorder. And the distinction between a syndrome and a disorder would be as soon as there is impairment in functioning.
Okay.
So impairment in functioning either socially, occupationally, so at work, absenteeism, because you can't go to work if you're feeling so depressed or having all these physical symptoms, and then obviously also the disruption in social, interpersonal relationships fall apart in
Yes.
that time.
Talk to me about how much of the disorder carries a mental aspect versus a physical aspect.
So with PMDD, it is actually a biologically based disorder because it's very hormonally based. It's got to do with the sensitivity to the fluctuations in hormones throughout the cycle that the woman experiences. But there's been shown to have a genetic component, which a lot of people don't know, but it's often triggered by either physical or emotional stress. So you can have both physical and emotional symptoms, but the underlying cause is hormonal.
Yeah. Habiba, back to your field of expertise, and I mean, we're talking about hormones which affect our bodily functions and how our system works. From a dietary and stress perspective, how does that affect your hair?
It affects it big time. A lot of the time I find that people don't realize that there's hormone in our hair, in our strand.
I didn't know that. In the actual strands of the hair there. Okay.
There's actual hormones in our hair. So, for example, if you are stressing, stress affects your muscular, your neuro, your psychological, and thus also impacting your hormonal. And then those clustered together then impacts your hair shaft performing negatively or having a negative effect on your hair. In essence, with regards to diet, if you have a poor diet, for example, or you're malnourished, for example, or you're lacking certain vitamins, this can also affect your hair strand, causing you to either have brittle strands or your hair to fall out. I've also noticed now lately, post-COVID, has also attacked the immune system, thus causing also a negative impact on the hair cycle. So between stress, diet, hormone imbalance, and life in general, the weather, the UV protection, all of them, they have impact on our hair, and we don't realize that your caller that, or the voice note that we got earlier on, taking good care of your hair is vital and it's important, and it's not anymore seen as only a luxury because people have realized that if I'm not doing anything internally or externally, I'm not going to overall look the part.
Before we go, I actually want to touch base with Sis Nomusa, who's joining us as the wellness manager of the SABC. What is one of your self-care routines, Sis Nomusa? Do you have one? I mean, we were talking about, Ridwan told us earlier on about the haircut that he gets and the occasional manicure. What is your preferred self-care routine?
You know, what always drives me when I think about self-care, I always look at it as a self-restoration. And I like Maya Angelou's quote that says, when you grow up, you actually discover that you have two hands. And with the two hands, one hand is meant to assist you, and the other hand is meant to assist others. So that always drives me to actually pause all the time and say, okay, with my hand that is supposed to help me, what am I doing? Because even the type of a role that we do demands a lot out of us, and we need to practice what we preach, because we tell our employees that self-care is important. You need to take time out. There is a reason why the employer has given you a number of leave days to take, just to be take time away from the work environment and focus on the things that matters to you. For me, self-care means exactly that. I like the me time. The me time means my own personal space where I shut down. I don't want to be having even a child around me. I read my book. I just want to go into a space where it's just a quiet moment. And I like to spend my time in KZN for that particular self-care.
Beautiful.
So it actually depends, but part of it, or now and again, I'll take time off and just go for my massage. Those kind of things, they actually restore my energy, they restore my well-being. So that's basically my routine of self-care and the restoration.
Well, we're going to definitely continue this conversation on the other side. Do send us your voice notes, 063-408-8863. What is your preferred self-care routine? And while you maybe are in a rush this morning, maybe just put the pause button on as we just take some time to reflect inward.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We're talking self-care on this Tuesday morning. And yes, laughter and a big smile is also part of self-care. But self-care isn't just about finding ways to relax, as we did earlier on with that meditation session. It's also about taking care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, and spiritually as well. Our panel of experts, Dr. Ronelle Williams, here to chat to us about PMDD that we learned about earlier on. Habiba Hendricks, a hair specialist and entrepreneur, also talked to us about the confidence one gets from your hair and how to then also, or how the elements, the internal elements and external elements also influence your hair. And then we also are speaking to Nomusa Kweyama, the National Wellness Manager at the SABC. And let's quickly have a listen to those voice notes that we've been getting from our viewers. Linnell, let's take a look.
Good morning. For me, self-care routine is stretching in the morning, as well as some breathing techniques, just box breathing, where you inhale, hold it, and exhale and hold it. I do that about 8 times in the morning, and then also I do enjoy doing cold water immersions, and that is at one of the tidal pools in the southern suburbs. Thank you.
I was trying to get my 8 breaths in there. Thank you very much for that, Linnell. And I like the cold water immersion thing, cold showers. I've experimented. Linnell is like, no ways. We are not dabbling in that one. We have a question via voice note that comes from one of our viewers. This is Christian.
Good morning, Morning Live. How are you guys doing? It's a beautiful morning this morning. Self-caring routine is, the basic is if you don't look after yourself or after your body, or after your hair, you'll start having problems of skin problem, all that. So the best option is look good after you, do exercise, get good vitamins in your body, use good shampoo for your hair and all that stuff. If you start don't caring for yourself, you start having problems with your body and or your hair and start stressing and all that stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Christian, for that voice note. We do really appreciate it. Let's head back to Sis Nomusa, shall we? I think we do have her back. So, Sis Nomusa, if you could just maybe enlighten us on some of the plans that you have at the SABC going into the future, looking at wellness in general within corporates as well as self-care as a theme.
Yes, basically, of course, like I said, we prioritize the health and well-being of our employees, and we constantly look at innovative ways of ensuring that we maximize when we talk about the health agenda in the organization. One of the things we have made it health and wellness a very solid business case for the organization. As a result, like I said, we invest a lot in it. Currently, what we are looking at, of course, you touched on a very important subject, the multi-dimension of well-being. As an organization, we are now focusing very strongly on the 4 dimension, which we're saying they are interlinked or interconnected, the spiritual well-being, the physical, the intellectual, as well as the emotional well-being. But we also include the relationships because we believe that that also brings in a huge component in ensuring that people live their well-being to the fullest and they become whole. So those are the things we are focusing on, but also we have introduced recently to our staff because with the change in the ways of working, the remote working that has been brought by the pandemic, we had to look at how do we reach our employees, how do we ensure that the wellness is not only we don't talk wellness in the workplace, but we talk wellness in the workplace and outside of the workplace. So we have actually provided our employees with an app that is very comprehensive. They're no longer depending on calling in if they need support or assistance. They can reach different experts at the tip of their fingertips. On the app, they can talk to them expert in the fitness industry, they can talk to the mental health expert, they can talk to the financial expert, and there's chat therapy sessions as well. It doesn't require a person to take 5 days to talk to somebody. So those are the things that we are doing because we believe that when you need your self-care, you need it now. So it shouldn't be a matter of that you must wait for 10 days, you must wait for 5 days, Absolutely. You must make a call and you must expect a call back. So we are trying to improve and we are bringing these innovations, especially because people are working remotely. Yeah. They don't have, that touch point that they used to have, the interaction with the colleagues, the go-to people that they used to go to, even in the office environment. Yeah. So these innovations have assisted us to reach them and for them to feel supported at all times.
And I love the fact that you're taking a very...
That's basically what we are doing at the moment.
And I love the fact that you're taking a very holistic view of self-care and wellness. Thank you so much for joining us, Sis Nomusa. And then finally, if we could just quickly touch base with you ladies here about the treatment options that are available. We spoke about PMDD and its severity, how serious it is, Dr. Williams. What are treatment options that are available, quickly?
Well, the one thing I'd like people to know is that it's actually very treatable. And the options include an antidepressant that can be prescribed. It comes from a group of SSRIs. I won't go into detail because it's too technical. Right. And that will be to help with the mood and the emotional symptoms. Sometimes they struggle with sleep and concentration. It would help with that as well. However, it would depend on the overall mental health of the woman to determine if she needs to take the antidepressant on a daily basis. Right. And in some cases, you can just take it that period between ovulation and the start of the menstruation. Okay. Then birth control pills, which can be prescribed by your general practitioner or your gynecologist to help with the hormonal levels, as well as relieve some of the physical aches and pains that most women will experience. Nutritional supplements have actually also been shown to help relieve symptoms of PMDD, and these would include calcium, magnesium, vitamin B6, omega-3, and some herbal remedies. Lovely. And then, of course, what we're talking about today, a healthy lifestyle.
That's where it all begins. And then I'm assuming pretty much the same when it comes to hair loss as well, minimizing stress, lifestyle changes that one can make, right?
Correct. And then easier said than done, but try to stress less.
I love that. On that note of self-care, thank you so much to our panel. And thank you for engaging with us on our WhatsApp voice notes. Please keep those coming and do take care of yourself. It's important.